While walking you through the onboarding process, I have highlighted the importance of the typing. Also, when you actually practice typing, I asked you to keep track of typing speed, typing progress by using the typing.com website and also by using either Google Sheet or Excel. There is a reason why I have highlighted to use both. The main reason why I want to use either Excel or Google Sheet is they will actually throw you some use cases for test your Python skills or practice the programming using Python. You can also practice with other programming languages as well. But as this course is primarily around Python related stuff, I will be emphasizing on Python. That being said, now let's go to the details about how we can leverage this typing progress data which we are capturing either in Excel or Google Sheet and understand what are the use cases we can test or we can practice. And also, I will give you a demo so that you understand the power of Python as well as our platform. As part of our platform, it will actually streamline the process of your learning and also test your programming skills. You will see the power here. If you are interested to be part of our platform and also if you want to enroll for our programs, I will provide the link in the description. Just go to that link and fill the form for the upcoming batches. We will reach out to you. You can enroll for our batches and we will take it further. That being said, when it comes to the scenarios, you can learn all these scenarios using this simple dataset. You can learn how to process data in CSV and look for insights using pandas. You can process data from Excel directly using appropriate API or library. You can process data from Google Sheets also using Google API. Also, you can actually get into the details about how to write this data into the database so that you can query if you want to query. It will actually give you some practice related to database programming as well. We will not be able to cover all the scenarios at this time, just to make sure that you understand the power of your data, Python as a programming language, as well as platform, and also the power of our program. I would like to demo how to convert the Excel or Google Sheet to CSV. We don't need to do that in actual usage. We can directly process data from Google Sheet or Excel using appropriate libraries. But for now, we will convert the data in Excel or Google Sheet into a CSV, and then we'll upload the file that is generated, which is in CSV format, to the platform. Then we will see how to use Pandas, which is already set up on our platform, to read the data. We will also see the Pandas plotting capabilities to get insights. This will also give you the level of details I go with respect to the training program. If you are interested to be part of these training programs, you can actually go to the description and fill the form and be prepared to enroll for our upcoming batches. Also, this session is primarily covered as part of the onboarding sessions. You just make sure you understand few things about how to convert Excel or Google Sheet to CSV, and also how to use our platform to upload. Once we give access, you can come back to this and you can practice this. You can also get the experience about how to run this code. We'll be providing the Python notebook for you. You can just upload the notebook also, and then you can take it further. That being said, let's get into the demo. Before getting into the demo, I'm just restarting the kernel and clearing all the outputs. Now you can see that there is no output here. And also I want to delete the file which I have copied already. So here I am deleting the file typing progress data.csv. I'll be demonstrating using the Excel, but with the Google Sheet also you can save the file as CSV and you can take it further. Now I have to go to my Excel. I hope you can see the Excel. Let me confirm. Let me actually share it again so that you can actually see the Excel. Now you should be able to see the Excel. You see there is a date, WPM, and accuracy. I just want to save this file as CSV. The way you can save the file as CSV is go to File, click on Save As. CSV is nothing but a plain text file which can be readable using simple editors such as Notepad, Notepad++, even Jupyter, which is part of our environment, so and so forth. If it is Excel or Google Sheet, you need to have Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets or some other application which can actually interpret those Excel or Google Sheet files. With CSV, you can not only use Excel or Google Sheet to read the comma separated text file, but also you can use simple editors such as Visual Studio Code or Notepad++ or TextPad. All those still tools can be used to read the data which is in the CSV format. Now the original file is in Excel format. We want to save it to CSV. As we want to convert the file format, when it comes to options in file, you see there is a save and also there is save as. You have to click on save as. If you click on save, it will just save the file with the current file name. But if you want to save into a different file name or different file type, you have to hit save as. Then you can actually see the options here. By default, it is XLSX. You can save as a different file here using XLSX itself, which is nothing but Excel. However, if you want to save it as CSV, you just have to expand this, and then you can actually look for the options here. There is a CSV UTF-8, delimited.csv. You can use this. Now I'm saving it. Now it will be saved as CSV. Let me close this. I have to share that file. For that, I have to share the desktop here. So what I'll be doing, let me share my desktop here. Now you should be able to see the complete desktop. Whatever I'm doing as part of the desktop, you should be able to see. I am opening my Finder and then I'm going to the desktop. This is where I have saved. The file name is nothing but typing speed tracker. You can see here. The original file was XLSX. Now it is CSV. You can actually open with text edit and you should be able to see the data in CSV format. You can see that. But if you try to open this using text edit, it is not possible. So I'm trying to open XLSX using text edit and it is not letting me to choose here because XLSX can be interpreted only by applications such as Google Sheet, Excel, etc. To open CSV, we can use text edit, TextPad, or any simple text editor. We don't need to have Excel or Google Sheets installed. That being said, now as the CSV file is ready, I want to upload into this platform. I am closing this and then I am actually clicking on this button. You see here, as part of the Jupyter-based environment, which will be providing for practice as part of our programs, you can click on this. It will take you to the local system. You can choose the appropriate folder. In my case, it is desktop. As part of the desktop, we have this typing speed tracker.csv. I can select this. I can upload this. Now you should be able to see the typing speed tracker.csv here. If you are using Google Sheet also, you should be able to save it as CSV. Let me demonstrate that as well here. For that, I'm going into the sheets.google.com, which is nothing but a browser-based Google Sheets application. You should be able to see here. Now, if you have a sheet like this, I have demonstrated that you can rename by just clicking on this and replacing this. It will be renamed. Now, when it comes to downloading or saving as CSV, this is in cloud, right? This is accessible only through browser. Now, if you wanted to save it as CSV, you can't just say save as and you can't just save as CSV. You have to click on download. And as part of the download, you can see there are several options. One of the options is nothing but comma separated values. You can actually select this and the file will be downloaded as CSV. So this is how you should be able to use Google Sheet to convert your typing progress data into CSV. You just have to go to File, Download, and then click on comma separated values. It will be downloaded into your downloads folder. You just have to go there, pick it up, and then upload. Once you upload successfully, you should be able to see the file here. Now, if you want to review the data to confirm whether the file is uploaded properly or not, you just have to right click on this, open with, then click on editor. You should be able to see the data. You can see the data here. There are 3 columns: date, WPM, and accuracy, and you can see the actual data itself. So there is a header, and then we have the actual data for each day. We have WPM as well as accuracy. Now let me close this and also let me click on this to collapse so that we get more real estate to go to the actual content. The first step of converting the Excel or Google Sheet as CSV is done, and also uploading the file to our platform is done. Now I can actually use Pandas, which is already set up on our platform, to read the data. Let's go through the details. We have to import Pandas. We can give alias to imported module Pandas as PD or whatever name you want to give, just to make sure that we don't need to type Pandas everywhere we are invoking the functions that are part of Pandas. Now, using this alias, I am saying pd.read_csv. It is a simple function provided by Pandas to read CSV file. You can see that I'm actually passing the file name here. Now, this notebook and this file are at the same level. You can see here, this is the notebook and this is the CSV. As both of them are at the same level, we can leverage the relative path and we can directly specify CSV file name here. However, if the notebook, which is nothing but this one, and the CSV are not at the same level, then you have to give path a bit differently. When you are practicing, if you run into any issues passing the file name, just let us know. We will troubleshoot and we'll tell you what is the right path you should be providing here. For now, as both are at the same level, as I have given the correct file name here, let's review the file names here. The file name is typing speed tracker.csv with spaces here, but when it comes to the content, it is typing _progress_data.csv, and hence this is not the right one. It will not work. So I have to replace the file name. So let me remove this and then start typing, and then hit tab. It automatically filled the CSV file name here because the first three characters are correct and there are no other files which start with those three characters, and hence it have automatically filled the CSV here. Now I should be able to run this. I have read the data from this file. I can preview by just saying typing _data, which is nothing but the variable name which is used. Now you can see the data here. You can get the details about the Pandas data frame. In this case, this typing data is of type data frame. To get the details about the data frame at a very higher level, which is nothing but the number of columns and number of rows, you can use shape. The first value in this output is nothing but the number of rows. The second value is nothing but number of columns. Also, if I just want to select date and WPM, but not accuracy, I can use this approach and I should be able to select only date and WPM. These are some of the basic features with Pandas where you can leverage and understand your data a bit better before getting into the actual insights. As we have understood how the data look like after reading and reviewing the data, now let's get into the details about plotting the data. There's a function called as plot. You can use that to pass the date on x-axis and WPM on y-axis to see how it look like. Before getting in there, let's get the help on the plot function. So if you want to use our platform to get the help, you can either use help function from Python, or you can actually specify question mark like this. Typing _data is the variable which is created earlier and it is of type data frame. There is a function called as plot on top of data frame, and you should be able to see the help here. It takes x-axis, y-axis, and quite a few other stuff as arguments. Depending upon our requirements, we have to figure out what all arguments that needs to be passed. Apart from x-axis and y-axis, we have to pass using a keyword argument feature. You will understand that at a later point in time. Now let me clear this output and let me run this to plot just based on date and WPM. If you look at the default behavior, it just picked the min and max values and it have plotted like this. Also, the labels on the x-axis are not clearly visible because the labels are being overwritten by others due to lack of this space. Now we have to fine tune this or optimize this so that the actual report makes sense. And also we wanted to not only trend the WPM, we also want to see the trend related to the accuracy. So we have to pass two column values as part of the y-axis. We have to change the way the labels are displayed with respect to the x-axis. We have to rotate the labels so that they don't overlap onto the others. And also we need to make sure that the min and max values are reasonable so that the graph or trend is a bit smooth and meaningful. That being said, Here we are passing data on x-axis, both the typing metrics on y-axis. So this is what we are trying to run, and we are trying to pass both the WPM and accuracy as part of the y-axis. As we have to pass multiple columns on y-axis, we have to pass it as a list, and data is being passed as part of the x-axis. Also, we are defining range of values on y-axis using ylim. Ylim stands for limits on y-axis. So the min and max with respect to votes per minute is around 18 and 30. That's why you can see the y-axis is plotted, or the y-axis is set up using those values. However, with respect to our accuracy, the accuracy is typically will be close to 100%. You can see here. It can be anywhere between 60 to 100% depending upon the way you are typing. That is the typical accuracy, 60 to 100%. You will not be able to reach 100%, but you might be able to reach like 96%, 97%, etc. And hence, I just want to define the y-axis limits between 0 and 120 or 150. For that, we can use ylim. You can see here, I'm actually passing the lower limit as 0 and upper limit as 150. This is called as tuple. We are passing tuple as argument for ylim, and we should be able to change the range. And also, as the labels are getting overlapped onto the others, I just want to rotate the labels on x-axis by 75 degrees. For that, I can actually use ROT. ROT stands for rotation. Ylim stands for y limit. Now we are passing all these arguments to the plot, and we should be able to run this. The graph will look much more smoother. It will be in line with what we have seen as part of the Excel. Let me actually share my screen and make sure that you can see the details. The entire desktop is being shared, and hence I can actually open the Excel once again, and you should be able to see the graph on Excel, and then you can compare with what we are seeing on our Jupyter Notebook using Python as programming language. You can see that the y-axis range is 0 and 120 here, and with respect to x-axis, the labels are rotated 45 degrees, whereas in my case, the y-axis range is 0 to 150, and the labels are rotated by 75 degrees. Apart from that, the actual graph looks similar between the two. So this is how you should be able to leverage the power of our platform and also power of Python as programming language to understand your data. As this is being demonstrated for entry-level professionals or those who are interested in enrolling to our program, this is a very good use case to understand how the program will be run, and also how the platform look like. If you are interested to be part of this program, go to the description. There will be a link. You just fill the form. We will enroll you in the upcoming batches. We will capture your interest and we will enroll you in the upcoming batches. We will give you detailed demo about the modules which are going to be covered, as well as the platform. And then you can make a decision to pay and be part of our programs in future.